Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Fintech, Payments and Beyond, empowering startups and corporations. We have with us our guest speaker, Nupur Rustagi, partner at Clove Legal, renowned expert in fintech and payments law. With a wealth of experience in corporate and commercial law, Nupur has played a pivotal role in advising startups, growth stage companies, and major corporations on their legal needs. From intellectual property and cross border transactions to RBI regulations and investment advisory, Nupur's expertise spans a broad spectrum. So, welcome, Nupur, to today's coffee conversation.
Hi, Amir. Thanks for having me over.
Okay. Let me explain you. There will be three rounds,
Okay.
professional, personal, and there is a surprise round, that is rapid fire round, for which you have to be witty, fun, and quick. And you will
Okay.
get your gift photographed and sent to you, but you have to win it first.
Yeah.
So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Varani, host at Coffee Conversation, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. So we help law firms, corporate legal startups, SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training. So my first question, Nupur, your share us about your journey from the beginning days till date.
I think at Clove, like, I can say that my career started with Clove itself because I was a college placement. I started with them as a fresher, and it has been amazing. I mean, it's been a decade now, and I started as an associate, and now I'm a partner. The journey has been challenging, but it's been fulfilling. So the way they have the two partners, the founding partners here, Amit and Dharnesh, they've helped at every level. And initially, it was a little difficult because all my internships or the experience that I had at the time of college was more to do with in-house. I was 1 year with Mondelez, which is Cadbury, and I had interned with them majorly. So it was an in-house experience, and I somehow did not see myself in a law firm setup per se. I I also told them in my interview that 5 years down the line after learning, I'll just move to a law to an in-house because that's where I see myself. But they changed that thinking. In 10 years, I'm still here and I'm loving it. I still enjoy the work that is there because the best part was that I was not limited in terms of the work that I was given. Early on, I was given transactions where I mean, the first transaction that I did was a complete acquisition, which a 3 month associate would not be able to handle or would not be given the opportunity to handle. So I think that's how the journey has been. They have held your hand, but also let you be free in terms of learning. So I think it's all I can say. It's been fulfilling. The entire journey and learning the law itself has been great.
My next question will be, since you stayed at Club Legal, there have been many I've done coffee conversation who have gone in the 10 years to different law firms or to in-house. What made you stick with Club Legal? What is that part? What made you, okay, my career is with Club Legal, I'll stay here till 20 years, 25, 30 years.
So the 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 reason why I've stayed here, and I've asked this question multiple times to myself. I mean, I have over the years thought about this, that should I stay, should I leave, should I stay? But every time I have thought of it, I have not found a reason to leave the firm because I mean, the experience that I'm getting, I've never gotten the learning has never been monotonous. So my problem is that the moment I start, the monotony comes in is where I start getting bored and I want to move on. But over the years, the experience have been wide. I have gotten clients who are in such varied fields of businesses or organizations. And secondly, the kind of work. So it's at one point of time, it's an acquisition of land. At the other point of time, it's an acquisition of a company. Then it's advising fintechs where we are going through the RBI guidelines, telling them everything that is applicable, what licenses they should take. So at no point of time have I felt the monotony for me to leave. Secondly, the environment in the firm is really nice. I mean, you need that kind of people in the firm where you want to work. At the end of the day, you don't feel like the environment is toxic or you want to leave. But the partners are more like family now. So that's also one of the reasons why I've stayed by, because the firm feels like family. So working is fun that way.
Wow. So, uh, hats off to both the founders, Dharmesh and Amit,
Amit,
uh,
yes.
leading the team and nurturing them and making a partner so early. I've seen there have been cases like uh, professionals have gone, they've been made partners after 12, 15 years. But nowadays, I've seen through my coffee conversation in 8 years, professionals have become partners. So it's very good. The partners who have formed a firm are grooming, nurturing, and giving them opportunities to uh, juniors and taking them to management level. That's impressive.
Sometimes their trust in us is what makes us also want to work better or be efficient, because they somehow trust us more than we trust, or they think that we are better than what we think of ourselves. So that kind of faith is what is also making sure that we don't we want to stay back for that reason also, because they have faith in us. Even when we are not confident, sometimes you lose your confidence, right? So, but they make sure that that confidence is always boosted.
Wow. So
Yeah.
let's dive deep into the conversation. Nupur, how do you approach advising early stage startups compared to more established companies?
So, early stage startup and more established companies, the nature of questions are different. So, early stage startups, they see us as a support, but also as a roadblock. So, we sort of advise them in a way that helps them the best to grow. So, it supports them because their aim is to grow at a faster pace, because the more established one are always all they are already grown and they understand where the legal teams are also coming from and what are the importance of the kind of contracts that we form or the kind of advices that we give. For early stage startups, we try to protect them and to it's a more descriptive for me it's more like uh, teaching them or explaining them everything or how the law works or how most importantly what are the consequences of uh, whatever we are advising to them. So if for example it's a transaction where they are getting early stage funding, so the way we sort of advise a startup would be on how the the things that they give up today or the rights that they give to the investors today or the kind of provisions that they have in their SHA, for example, how would it play along in the long run or how it would affect them practically. That's how we approach in terms of a startup. Whereas for an already established company, I think we align with their future plans in terms of, because if it's an established company, at some point of time, the promoters would want to look at an exit in that sense. So we advise them on how best to achieve that or how best to structure the document which supports their future plans. So that's the difference in it's a more descriptive advice or more explanatory advice for the startups, whereas the more established companies it's more aligned to their future prospects in terms of exits.
Beautiful. So, Nupur, what have been some of the most challenging legal issues you have faced in the fintech and payment sector?
I think when I started with the firm, they had a few clients who were already in the fintech space. And at that point of time, the payments and settlement system act had just, I mean, it was a couple of years into it and the industry was still booming. So the main challenge we faced was to advise a client in best way to structure their business in a way that they they get. It was basically interpreting whether they come within the ambits of RBI guidelines or not, whether those guidelines apply to them because of the nature of business that they were undertaking, because there was still the definitions of who the payment players are was not that clear. So that now they are coming up with more or descriptive guidelines, you can say, or more specific guidelines for an aggregator or a processor and all of that, which was not the case earlier. So the only because if we advise them that this is not applicable to you and it is otherwise, then the client is in a soup for sure. So the initial interpretation of and understanding it with in lines with the technical business of the client to see whether whatever they are doing falls within the thin lines of RBI guidelines or not is what I found challenging initially.
So, Nupur, can you share significant achievement in your work with cross-border transactions?
I think the most significant and the most learning experience that I would say was we were assisting in early, like a growth round investments for a client, and there were multiple investors involved, including VCs, foreign funds, and all. And we were representing the company and the promoters at that time. So handling the documents and the comments from all these investors at one point of time, making sure because all of them were investing a different percentage, so making sure that everybody's comments and everybody's rights are getting catered to while protecting the client as in the company and the promoters was the most challenging one because dealing with cross-border attorneys and their Indian arm, it also sometimes a lot of times their local governance clauses or their governance laws, FATF, and all of these come into picture. So I think that has been the most learning experience because you have to work around the clock, considering some comments may come late in the night and early morning you have to send out a draft because the timelines are short. So I think that has one of that may not be the biggest achievement, but has to be the most the one where I've learned the most. It was
Beautiful.
also an initial transaction, like when I was a A0 or A1 at that time. So for me, that has been the
Memorable one.
challenging one. Yeah,
Challenging and memorable, both.
memorable for sure. It was a great experience dealing with so many. So the best part was that you learn from so many of them, and everybody has a
Yeah.
different way of working. Somebody gets a document at 8 p.m. IST, sitting in Singapore, and in the next 2 hours, you have a fully vetted document in your hands. So that was, I mean, surprising for me, and it was quite impressive at that time.
So, you're leading me to next question. How do you ensure effective communication and negotiation during the drafting and execution of transaction documents?
So transaction documents, I think some part of it is very, I mean, if you look at a subscription agreement or a share purchase agreement, more or less it's commercial in nature as to what parties have agreed to, other than indemnities and all, where actually the legal discussions come into play. Because other than that, the term sheet level, it's already done. SHA, when you're drafting, I mean, shareholders agreement, the main communication I feel that is important is with our client itself to explain to them, especially when they're a company and promoters, to explain to them what they're giving up or what rights they're giving to the investors, and then sort of aligning it with their way of working in the company, whether they want autonomy completely or are they okay with the interference of the investors for every little thing, because the investors want all sorts of rights in terms of information, reserve matters, and everything. So the most effective way of communication is aligning it with how the promoters are and how much they will be able to cater to the investors' needs also in that sense. And then we communicate that and sort of get into the negotiation basis those understandings basically on understanding our promoters. I mean, my approach is to understand the promoter first. If they are kind of, if we know that they are initial stage, we know some things will not be able to be done because not everything can they approach, and it's actually restrictive for the business also then because they will not be able to function otherwise. So we accordingly frame the rights and we try to negotiate with the investors to the extent we feel is feasible to make sure that they can run the company efficiently and grow the business. Because frankly, the aim is to just grow the business at that point of time. It is not to sort of limit, and it's only better for the investor.
Beautiful. So, Nupur, what role does intellectual property law play in your practice and why is it crucial for your clients?
I think everything is IPR these days because most of the
I
companies
know.
are technology companies. So, and starting from the name itself, you want the trademark to be registered, the website to be registered. So, I feel IP is one of the most uh, prominent or the most critical aspect for anything that we are doing. because anything that anybody is creating, if it's a software, it is all IP. Then also your IP provisions come into place. Whether it's an investment, you would want the company to own every IP that they're creating. You want them to own the domain name that you're creating. So I feel that everything that we're, because we work with so many tech companies, whether it's a fintech company or otherwise, even a pharmaceutical company, for them the IP is critical in terms of their the medicines or the boxes, even that. So we've seen transactions where we've only done an IP transfer because that is everything for a pharmaceutical company in that sense, because the brand is what sells. The composition of the tablet is what everybody else is also selling, but it is the brand which sells. So there also IP becomes critical. So I feel IP is one of the key areas of practice, no matter which category of client we're catering to, because everybody deals in the intellectual property in some way or the other.
Wow. Okay, Nupur, what strategy do you use to stay updated with the constantly evolving RBI regulations for fintechs and NBFCs?
I think it comes with the practice. I mean, it's an on the job learning, because RBI is so evolving. No matter how much you try to stay updated with them, there'll be a different guideline being given to the payment aggregators, which only they have access to, or which is going only to the banks. So the only way to stay updated is to keep reading the news, and also it's an on. I consider it as an on the job learning. Other than that, it's all learning from the. It's basically following the news which pertains to fintechs.
Wow. So, Nupur, how has the leadership style evolved over the years?
I think I was not a leader initially at all, because I was a very like a introvert student in college, and a very timid person that way. It's not very outspoken, not very friendly. But it's over the years that I've learned. It took me a lot of time and a maternity break to sort of start delegating things. So my leadership has evolved over the years in terms of uh, letting go that control, and understanding the associates and other people, the juniors in that sense, on what are their hardships. The main thing is learning how to, I think I'm trying to work on that more, is understanding each and every junior that we work with, because not every person, I think this is something that the two partners have told me time and again, that like not every finger is the same. Similarly, not every junior is the same. So dealing with everybody in a way that caters to them and to help them understand better is what I think that's how the leadership has evolved, and I'm still working on that.
Wow, that's very beautiful. So, Nupur, how does your day look like being a partner at Clove Legal?
I think my day, I start early. I start around 9:30 in the morning. Like I'm in office by 9:30, and I start my day with the things that I need to do independently, because that's the reason why I come early, because then the whole day is working with other people and having them look into things. But there are some things which I need to execute on my own. One thing I've realized is never to let go of execution, because that just makes you less and less. I mean, that reduces your experience in a way. I think that's one thing which I want to continue to do. And that's how I start my day. So the initial day starts with doing things which the projects that I'm working on. And I start with that. And then the day goes on as and when working with other associates, looking at their work, and I mean, meetings and all. That's how the whole day goes.
Hmm. So, my last question, Nupur, what advice would you give to young legal professionals entering into M&A advisory transaction world?
I think the one thing I would tell them is that make sure that your basics are very clear. I mean, in terms of the Companies Act and the basics, irrespective of what, I mean, you are going to learn. I would say that I was a completely, I didn't know anything. And it's okay to not know. But you should just have the zeal to learn. And uh, I think what is important is being inquisitive and reading the law, because again, the Companies Act, though it is the same, the procedures keep on changing. So that is something that never lose the zeal of learning is what I would say to anyone who's entering the law field. I mean, not just M&A, but other than that also, because it's interesting. It can become it can become monotonous, but every transaction is different. Though you would have the same term sheet, same rights, same everything, but I'm sure there'll be that one little thing which will be different in every transaction, which you should always pay attention to. Don't treat everything as a vanilla transaction.
Wow. So let me add one more question. Just come to my mind. How has technology helped you in your work area from your starting days till today?
I mean, we we draft the contracts. It's technology. So that's one way. But I mean, during COVID, the reduction of offline meetings. I think the main way that technology has helped is these VCs and the calls. I think they have increased over the time. Earlier, we at least used to have some sort of physical meetings, but now with the video conferencing features, which everybody's opting for, you earlier there was still a, I think there were people who were skeptical about having them online because that physical meeting was always preferred. I think that way it has reduced the time of traveling and waiting for a meeting, which has helped in basically saving time. Anything which can happen in a physical meeting can happen over a VC. That's how it has helped. But it has also, I mean, technology, I would also say, has helped in tracking the tasks that you have. So we do use softwares to track what tasks we have and how much time we're spending, because that's also critical. I mean, in the whole legal field, you want to know how many hours you're giving to a client and how you, because a lot of times the billing is dependent on the timesheets and all. So from physical, it's always better to have it, use softwares to basically help you maintain that and manage that. That's how technology has helped.
Wow. So let's go to next round and understand Nupur as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
So I come from a business class family. I mean, I was the first lawyer in my entire family. So I have engineers. My dad, my brother, both of them are engineers. My mom, but I've only seen a working women because my mom was working. So from the beginning, I mean, she's my you can say role model. In I mean, she's been hardworking, and I can say I'm following her footsteps. So that's how my family had. That's how my family and my background is. And now I am married into a family which is only lawyers. My husband's a lawyer. His father was a lawyer. His grandfather was a judge. He was a high court judge. And so, I mean, I come into a very different background. And now my family is a little small family of with my husband, my mother-in-law, and my son.
Yeah. So what hobbies or activities do you enjoy in your free time, Nupur?
I I mean I used to play table tennis. So I still try to play as much as I can. So that's one way how I try to, at the end of the day I play table tennis or I read sometimes. And I mean, TV is also there, television, Netflix, OTT platforms. There are. I love to watch movies. So that's one way of unwinding. And with my son, I think most of the time goes with him now.
Wow. So which is uh, the book you're reading or new book you're planning to read? My next question will be, which one movie you like to watch in March?
I think I really want to watch Chava right now, which is the which is the hype right now. I think that's one movie that I want to watch. But as such, I don't have. I mean, I'm not. I don't make lists of what movie theater I want to watch. I find some light-hearted movie on OTT platforms. I'll rewatch them. I do that. I rewatch movies. I rewatch shows. I actually reread books also. I'm rereading Palace of Illusions right now
Mhm.
because some things, I mean, you want to go back to.
So can you share about this book?
So Palace of Illusions is actually a book which is a book about Panchali. I mean, from her perspective, and it's about the Mahabharata, but how she sees it and how her story goes, which is very enlightening because you have I've never come across a book where you see her perspective. So I have already read it once, where she sees how that Chirharan was, what was her view of it, or how she grew up. It basically starts with how she was born out of fire, where the father was only expecting a son, but then she was also born and she was dusky, and how she's dealt with it for the years, though she was intelligent. Yet since she was a girl, she was not given that much of love or importance in the family, and then how she sees the entire Mahabharata, and you know, it's a very good read.
Wow, beautiful. So Nupur, suppose you have 1 week away from work, away from gadgets. What would you like to do in that 1 week?
I would just relax alongside the beach. Our favorite destination is Goa. I think my husband and I, we just love to relax there. We take 2 trips a year, and we are famous for that because we keep going back to that place because it's just very relaxing, and that's what I would do.
Wow. So what's one fun fact which your friends or colleagues don't know about you?
One fun fact which my friends or colleagues don't know about me. I think they don't know that I sort of enjoy dancing. I mean, that's what I do at home. A lot of times I would just put on loud music and dance. I think that's one thing which they would not know about.
Wow. So what are your plans for 2025 now? 10 months are there, professionally and personally.
So professionally, I think uh, I want to be. I mean, the moment I got the role of a partner, I sort of went on a break, on a maternity leave. So I am yet to get into that role fully. So I think my motive or my aim, or you can say my goals for 2025 is getting into this role, which is not just working with new clients as well, getting new clients as well, and I mean the entire role of leadership is what I want to nurture in the year 2025, and I want to be better at it. That's my goal professionally, and personally I think I just want to have more quality time with my family and my 1 year old.
Wow, beautiful. So, Nupur, we have got a series at the coffee, Sri Shakti, and now 8th March, International Women's Day is also coming up. So, according to you, what does Sri Shakti mean to you?
Shri Shakti for me is being, being independent. I think financial independence is, I feel that's Shakti for me because that gives you power in yourself to trust in yourself because you're not dependent. You can be, it gives you liberty in a way. I mean, it does. I mean, I think I was told a couple of days back only that you are modern, but yet you have a lot of traditional thinking. And Sri Shakti for me is that, I mean, I can be traditional, but I'm also empowered in a way that I can make my own decisions. I can decide for myself what I want and what I don't want. I mean, I'm not restricted to anything. So that for me is Sri Shakti, having the liberty to do what you want to do and not being at the hands of others for that.
Beautiful. So, my last one will be a googly. Describe Nupur in one line.
Describing myself in that line. Um, Nupur is, I mean, I can say that I'm just, I'm I can say I'm hardworking. I mean, that's one thing, irrespective of either it's professionally or personally, I'm hardworking and dedicated. If I've decided on to do something, I will make sure I do it, and I do it with as much perfection as I can.
Wow, beautiful. So let's have some fun, the rapid fire round. You're an early bird or a night owl?
I'm a night owl.
Wow. Your go-to comfort food?
Chole bhature.
Your favorite color?
It's black.
A quote or mantra you live by?
I mean, keep doing it, you'll get the benefits. I mean,
Wow.
just focus on the work. Don't keep doing it. Don't think of the results that it is going to yield.
Uh, famous table tennis player, sports player.
I don't know anyone who's playing right now. Like I used to know in school. I think probably I've forgotten that also. But yeah,
It's fine. Okay. Your favorite song?
it's currently. So I used to listen to a lot of sitar. It was Anushka Shankar at that point of time. Now it's Rishabh Rakhi Rahin. I mean the guy who sings with the sitar. It's a bhajan basically by him. It's called Shiv Kailasho Ke Vasi.
Wow.
I'm listening to it on loop right now.
Wow. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
But it's coffee, so let's finish it with.
I'm having coffee right now, but it's actually tea.
One thing you can't live without.
One thing I can't live without, I would say my husband.
So you did well. So this gift is dedicated to your family, and I'll
Thanks.
autograph it and send it to you. So cherish it. And so, friends, this was a lovely conversation. How a woman can make two families, that is work family as and a personal family. Nupur has been with Clove Legal over a decade, and hats off to her. Okay, all those women professionals out there, once you accept your work family, be with that family will nurture you. So uh, it's commendable to the founding partners, yeah, Dharmesh and Amit, who nurture young talent, groom them, and make them part of, as Nupur said in the conversation, now it has become my family. So this is what balancing both families the woman is good at. And uh, any the legal professionals out there, they want to have a career in the startup advisory, especially the fintech, the payments. So this is episode to watch out for. Go through, you'll get a lot of insights where Nupur has shared and her personal journey. So, like this, we have got a 350 speakers sharing about the subject expertise and their professional personal journey. If you want to be invited, visit our company page on LinkedIn, the Emerging India Forum, DM, fill in the form. Our team will invite you to have coffee conversation and inspire others. So subscribe to the channel, The Coffee Conversation Show. Thank you.
Thank you.